I'm going to call this meeting to order, and I have two additions. We have the Planning Commission forwarded to us some zoning bylaw amendments. We're going to add that under new business. We just have to set a date for a hearing. And then under correspondence for information, we had a packet of information from the Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation, their annual report. And with that, we'll go to our minutes of January 31st.
I would move approval of the minutes of January 31st.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Moving on to bills for payment, we have warrant 17, the payroll 17P, and Conservation Commission number 9.
I will move that we approve warrant 17, 17P, and Conservation Commission number 9.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Warrant 17 is for a total of $26,884.96. Most of that's going to fuel, salt for the road highway department, the sheriff's monthly bill, electric bills from Green Mountain Power, and several tax refunds where people paid in advance their property taxes but forgot to tell their bank. And the bank went ahead and paid these, an automatic payment, and so we're refunding. Rather than double dip, we're refunding that second payment. So any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We have no visitors at the present time. And we don't have a road foreman, but we do have some bids in the green folder.
You bring your letter opener?
No, there's a, I'm not allowed to bring a knife to these meetings anymore since I cut one bid in half.
I have one if it would help.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it'd be very,
Oh, look, this one is,
so much more satisfying.
okay. Just up mine.
Want me to,
Okay, so.
There you go.
There you go.
Man with the knife.
This one.
So as you open the bids, we're going to find there's going to be 2 bids for 2 John Deere tractors. When we talked about this last week, it was going to be one model of a John Deere, one model of a Cat. But I guess one of the dealers called up Lee, and there's a bit of a difference between the capabilities of the Cat and the John Deere we had on that. So we asked Lee if he could include a bid for a smaller size John Deere as well.
Okay.
And Lee said that was fine. So I think you'll find 2 John Deere bids and 1 Cat bid. And the Cat dealer was given the opportunity to bid on a second machine himself, but his machine that he had available was over the weight limit. So because of that, he didn't even bother submitting the bid for his other machine. So.
Okay, all right, you want to look through that and come up with, now, so these bids for a grader are going to be on the warning for the town meeting. So the purpose of getting these bids now is just to get a better sense of what price we need to ask for at town meeting. So we're estimating $295,000. And the idea is if we have some actual bids, we can have, instead of just an estimate, we can have some actual figures and amend the warning to reflect those actual figures.
I think even though we have the numbers here, now that we've opened them, then Lee will look through and look at the specs, and then we'll have to have him in to discuss which one we want to go forward with.
Right.
At the town meeting, correct?
Right, yes, after town meeting.
Right.
Yeah, and so, you have anything?
Well, I'm a little confused because I have 2 bids.
Yeah, that's a John Deere, I guess.
But it looks like it's 2 bids for, it would appear to me that the same thing with different amounts.
I think the nomenclature should be different. So one of them, Joe, it should be a 120 M2 AWD all-wheel drive, and then is there another one with a different number?
Well, they both say John Deere 62. Oh, I'm sorry. One of them is 6726, and the other one is 6226.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. That was
Okay.
So the 6226 is the smaller one that what I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
You put a second bid in.
And should I
Sure.
say the amounts?
Yeah.
The 6226 is $230,000. After the trade-in of the 2002 770 CH. The 6726 is $251,900. Again, after that trade-in. And there's options for a color rear view mirror, rear view camera, front fenders, rear fenders.
Okay, great.
And I guess we're just going to pass these along to
Yes,
Lee.
to Lee.
Yep.
So if you guys real quick, it looks like the cat. So this is the from Milton Caterpillar. The discounted cost as per specs, less the trade-in for the Caterpillar is $234,900. $234,900. And then there's 6 options listed that probably a total another $10,000 or $11,000.
Okay. So we'll,
So it's my understanding there are 2 different companies that are bidding on 2 different vehicles.
2 different companies bidding on graders, and one of the companies has 2 different models that they think we should consider.
Okay.
So like when Lee came in here today, the 2 that were on the initial sheet we had, the Caterpillar was a bit smaller than the John Deere, so there was going to be a price difference regardless. So when the John Deere dealer saw that, he said, well, I have a tractor that's a little bit smaller than the Caterpillar, but can I throw the bid in for that, just so as you look through the specs. And then the Caterpillar dealer then said, hey, John Deere's got 2, do you want to put another bid in? But the only other one he had was bigger than the larger of the
Yeah,
2 John
too
Deeres.
big to go across
Yeah.
the wooden.
It was, right,
Covered
it was
bridge.
overweight, so he
Yeah.
declined to put a second bid in. So we have to look at it. We got a large one, kind of a mid-size, and then a smaller one that I think is actually a new model that Lee hasn't found any. The smaller John Deere, he hasn't found anyone that actually runs that piece of machinery yet to get any kind of feedback on. So
Okay,
okay.
great. Okay. Well, it's encouraging that these are all coming in under the 295,000 that we had thought. So that's good.
All right, so highway, we go in here.
Okay, do you have any other messages from me?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Neither do I. Under correspondence for information, is there anything there that you want to discuss? Okay.
I'll just quickly then. I saw the brochure. I didn't see the date. Is there a reservation by date that we should just?
Oh, for
Somebody want to contact
the Select Board Institute?
right?
I think there's an early bird sign up. So if anyone wants to go, they could just get in touch with Lori and.
Or should somebody want to reach out to the
Yes,
candidate runner?
Rachel Glickman. Yeah, I can do that.
She should know.
I'll forward that to her.
Okay.
I was wondering, I guess this one's just in Fairleigh. I guess they're not having one in Montpelier this year, so. But anyone who wants to go just needs to let Lori or Charlotte know, and they'll send a check for that. Okay, and I'll make a note, Rachel Whitman. Okay, we have nothing under correspondence for discussion and/or action. Only thing under new business is the new zoning bylaws. Oh,
Did you add BDCC to that category? Did you add BDCC to that category?
that was under correspondence for information.
Oh, sorry.
So I think
And we got the annual report from them. They
Yeah.
gave us a number of copies.
I wrote it in the wrong place.
Yeah.
okay. Back to business here. The bylaws. There's some in there. Do you want to give us a rundown, Maria, of what the bylaws were, changes?
I have to look at them.
Okay.
There wasn't very many. It was definitions, I think, if I remember right. Oh, yeah, it was the wireless telecommunications. That was the bulk of it, which was really, the wording that came right from, I think it was Wyndham Regional or the state, whichever.
Oh, right, we read that before.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then the other one was to allow Roger to be able to review permits that only need like minor amendments, that might not have to go to the DRB. And that was one of them. And yeah, that was just definitions. And then we changed the wording in the appeals section. And then the definitions. There isn't a whole lot of changes.
So what's the
So
process?
the process is we have to warn a public hearing for that. We have to warn it 15 days before the public hearing. So if we use the Commons, we've got to put it in, I guess, 3 weeks early. And then I think we could have this at one of our regular meetings. But at this point, it's the 15th, where they don't have a calendar hanging here. It looks like
The 14th, 28th, or the
it's the,
7th?
March?
yeah, it looks like we're going into March. So,
Are we gonna meet, so the 28th, the 7th of March is not a normal regular
no,
schedule.
that's our day off, our Wednesday off.
So we're not gonna meet that to reorganize anything, we're gonna wait till the next scheduled meeting. I don't remember what we did last.
Yeah, usually if we have, 2 weeks or we meet and organize, it just, but a week, I think we could hang in there.
You mean because town meeting is the 6th?
Right, and the 7th is not a regularly scheduled meeting. My question was just, are we gonna meet the 7th to reorganize, or are we just gonna wait till the next scheduled meeting and then
On the
just stay on
14th.
our standard?
What would you like to do?
I don't really see any reason to meet the next day. I mean, I think we'll function.
I think we could coast until,
The 14th.
Yes.
yeah, and if anything, out of the ordinary comes along, we could call a special meeting, but I think we'll be okay.
So it'd be too much to do that hearing on that first meeting back. Should we wait till the 28th? I mean, I'm looking
28th.
at the wrong month, sorry.
Yeah.
28th of March.
We've got,
Is there any time consideration for
no.
these?
yes, you can't do it less than 15 days or more, you can't go more than 120 days out. So,
But I was talking more about these amendments. Like, is there is there a rush on this, or is there something that's coming up that this wants to be changed in anticipation of?
No, I mean, it could wait.
It could wait till the 28th.
Yeah, so you want to
Yeah, I think the
go
28th.
go for the 28th, okay. And we'll, you never know. 3:28, public hearing. I was the only one at the public hearing, the only public at the public hearing for the planning board. So it might not be a big crowd, so maybe we could do it at the town office.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But, to get the ad, the notice out is the big deal. Anything else on?
Well, just about this, these amendments, so, these come from the planning commission and they're amendments to the zoning bylaws. Is there background on these, or will we have a conversation about this?
Most of those were recommendations from Roger
Okay.
as a zoning administrator, like some of the definitions,
Mm-hmm.
being able to give him administrative review. They were things as he's been reviewing the zoning that he thought would be helpful.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The telecommunications, that was something I asked about, and Sam Farwell and Andrew McFadden had come to one of our meetings to discuss this several months ago now.
Andrew McFadden?
McFarland.
McFarland, yes, okay. Good, thank you. And our present telecommunications ordinance is just, old. It's
Yeah, I remember, and we did
antiquated.
have a conversation about that, I'm
Yeah.
remembering.
Yeah, so this brings us more into compliance with the state and what Vermont League of Cities and Towns is recommending.
Plus, it was an ordinance where this will actually be in the bylaw.
Maybe would it be useful of Roger's time to come in the week before the meeting before that to talk? Do you want to have him come in and?
Well, so I guess, so the planning commission reviewed these,
Oh,
and
yes.
they're feeling
Yes.
fine about it.
Yeah.
And so now it's just up to us to
Yes.
have this hearing and then vote on it.
Yes, the planning commission worked on this for quite a while, some of it, and had held a public hearing as they're required to, and then adopted these. And now the final process of that, adopting these, is with the select board.
Yeah. Just like the town plan.
Yep.
Just like what we're doing tonight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good, thank you.
Yep. So, under, nothing else under new business, so unfinished business, do you have a little bit more information on the
Yeah.
Wyndham Regional Commission Rich Earth Village Sanitation Pilot Study?
Yes. So I had a good conversation with Emily at the Wyndham Regional Commission, couple conversations actually. And we decided that the best approach would be to have a little pre-meeting where she and the representative from Rich Earth come here and we have a conversation here on West Street, just for them to look at it and see if it fits the criteria for their study and learn a little bit more about the study. And then we would, at our meeting on the 28th, invite them to come to our meeting and talk to us about it. But for them to be able to talk to us about the study with in mind, what are the, I mean, every town is different. So for them to be able to talk about their study, having been to the place is helpful. So that's why that pre-meeting, just informal meeting seemed like a good idea. But that on March 28th, if we can fit that into our, either our meeting or have a public meeting where we would invite people and say, if you want to learn more about this village sanitation pilot study, come to this information session. So what do you think would be better? To have it on the agenda and have people come and participate in that part of the agenda, or actually have a information session?
So, tell me if I'm wrong, but this pilot, the Rich Earth, is collecting household urine.
Correct.
Right. And so this isn't getting people, this isn't a community septic tank or something. It would be getting people who want to do this.
Well, the pilot study, from my little bit of research, is about coming up with options for village sanitation. It doesn't have an end goal. It doesn't have one idea. It wants to sort of understand better what's going on in a village center and what are the issues, and if the activity, and so the Rich Earth Institute that is now doing this urine separation, they want to move from individual household stuff to a broader community level, and they don't know what that looks like. So they've gotten funding for a pilot study, and they'd like some village center to participate with them in, well, what might that look like? Might look like this, might look like that, and it's not necessarily going to end up in something that village is going to do. It's really an exploration with a group of people. That's my understanding.
Okay. So, I just don't want to, get in a peeing contest with residents in in the village, and have them think, oh, the select board is going to make us pee into a bucket. I'd rather it be have the information out there, and then if residents want to do this, all power to them. Great. But I don't want it to be, I don't want to get in the perception that, oh, the select board,
Right. Right.
Is endorsing this.
wants us to, it's going to make us do this, or, so
The same thing came up at the planning commission about this pilot study. And the consensus of the planning commission was the same sentiment, was that it shouldn't be a town-sponsored, that if a group of people, residents on West Street wanted to do it, that it was up to them as individuals to do it.
Oh, huh.
I think if you're, how does this sound to you as our West Street?
Well, I guess I have to say, I didn't, I've learned more in the last 2 minutes than I knew anything. I didn't know that what it was. I thought it was broader, I guess. I thought they were coming to look at this and go, technology changes.
Right.
They might walk through the village and go, at some point, there might be options for, how to, we're saturated, right, with leach fields and septic tanks and things. I guess I still don't quite understand the scope, if it's just collecting this or that. So I guess the shortage is I really still don't quite get it, but if it's what you're kind of leading to, I don't think you're going to see a lot of interest in that. Or if it's just like collecting urine, or I don't know, but I think March 1st, was that when they were going to look at the...
First was when Emily and Kim Nace from the Rich Earth Institute were going to come and meet with Sam and me, and if you wanted to come, to just hear a little bit more about it in person, and for them to ask questions about West Street, and they want their pilot study to be successful. And in order to be successful, you want to have the right partners. Nothing is cast in stone, is my understanding. They don't have information to give us any more than they've already given us, which was that one-page thing, which I'm sorry I don't have that tonight. But so they don't really know what it's going to look like. They want partners that are going to go with them in this process, walk down this road, asking questions and understanding, you know, the issues and what options. Nothing, a pilot study isn't going to end up with dictums or with requirements or with decisions. It really is just a pilot study to see what options might exist, and they're looking for partners in that activity. Now, this is a whole new idea to me. I mean, I guess Wyndham Regional is connected to select boards, and so that's how they would reach a town or many towns. And so, you know, maybe that's the best way to do it, where there's a group of individuals that's interested in doing a pilot study with them, and it's not a town generated activity, either from the planning commission or the select board or whatever.
Because it doesn't have to just be West Street. They could pick anywhere, any neighborhood.
And they want
If there
to,
was a group of individuals that wanted to,
right,
Sure.
right.
Forgive me, but for the viewers and me, what does this have to do with collecting urine?
Because that's what the Rich Earth Institute does. They're an international research group that happens to be in Brattleboro that is doing very cutting edge research on the value of using composting urine and using it to enhance, you
Is
know,
this for agricultural?
agricultural
Yeah,
purposes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I see, okay.
And just backing up further, Wyndham Regional Commission sent us a letter just saying we're doing, you know, pilot projects with the Rich Earth, and with the idea of could this help some communities with their septic system problems that they're having. You know, not solve them, but, you know,
I mean, if
maybe
you,
help.
if someone could make their septic system last longer because they're separating out urine, they're not putting urine in it, that could be, you know, one option. But it's not, you know, the pilot study itself is not anything that's going to end up with requirements for any particular
Right.
town.
So I like the idea of having, you know, an information meeting and letting people, if they are interested,
Move forward with
move
it.
forward. Yeah.
But it,
And I
not as a select board or a planning commission, what's the word I'm looking for?
mandate.
endorsement.
Endorsement or whatever.
So
Yeah, or like, saying we're gonna do this as a town, so it's an official.
I mean, they've been
agreement with
talking
them.
about it as a town, but I think that's just
Yeah.
the language of Wyndham Regional Commission. I
Right.
don't know as they necessarily need a town. What they need is a group of people
Right.
that know, that live in that place and know those people, so that, you know, they can get information. There's gonna be in a pilot study, there's a lot of collection of information. And, you know, everybody has a story about the history of their septic system.
yeah, and there might be places in other parts of town where this might be,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not limited to.
Oh,
Yes,
no,
but
no, they're
other-
interviewing
yeah.
other towns, and even in Dummerston, you know, there are other centers, you know, we talked about
Sure.
Slab Hollow and,
Yeah, and there are places like Popple Commons or little enclaves, little
Yeah.
communities. Yeah. So,
No, I agree. I mean, I guess I was more conventionally, when I, just hearing this, I thought it was gonna be more of a conventional, like, come in, look at it and go, okay, here's, with technology improvements,
Sure.
maybe in the future, you may look at this, whether it be a gray water thing.
No,
or
it's
this
very
one.
focused on the Rich Earth
Yeah,
Institute
so-
and their urine diversion.
Yeah. So I'm, speaking for myself, yeah, I'm probably not gonna jump on board
Mhm.
the plan,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay, well, Sam and I will meet with Emily,
Yeah.
and I think this has, brought me a step further in thinking about it, and we'll see where we get.
great.
And I think it's important, there were 2 people that came to our past select board meeting, so I should contact them and just let them know where this is going.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
That'd
so I'll
be
do
great.
that.
Good. Good. Any other thoughts? Let's see. Well, we've got 25 minutes before our public hearing. Gee, I wish I brought my slides from my trip to Wardsboro last 2 years ago, but I didn't think to. Do you want to recess and go have a beer at Hugh's place?
Well, I was waiting for you to bring that up. I mean, geez, that's the logical thing to do.
Let's see. The only other thing, under the rest of our meeting, after our public hearing, we're going to discuss, the town plan under our public hearing. We can talk about the town plan now if you want, but in advance of the public
You
comments
mean as
that we
part of
get.
our meeting?
Yep. And we could also, if you want, we could, town meeting, we've got to assign who's going to take what article.
Oh, yeah.
And we could do that
Quickly.
if you want.
I think we should do that.
Okay. Do you, sure. You want to turn?
I'll take Article 11.
Let's not jump ahead. I'll jump in and say, it's traditional for the chair to do the highway budget and the general fund budget.
Okay, and
So
that's
if-
Carolyn, what page is this?
page 64?
Yep.
Okay.
So, Z, tell me which 2 articles.
That would be, let's see, I'm assuming this is the same here.
6 and 7?
6 and 7. Nope, 7 and 8.
Oh, yeah.
So Zeke's gonna do 7 and 8.
Yep. Okay, everything else is open.
Do one of us second that motion too?
What?
I mean, like, so you're gonna move, you're gonna go, I move to see if the voters you'll read the thing.
Yep.
Do one of us
Yep.
generally
just-
second?
Yep.
So,
Yep,
are we
un-
gonna?
unless Ruth Barton jumps in before. But-
I don't think we have to assign seconds, though, right?
Yep,
Well, then, okay. All right.
okay, so who would like to do Article 2?
To act on the auditor's report. How
I'll
do
do
we
that.
act on that?
Oh, okay, let's have Joe do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Article 3, see if the voters will authorize the select board to appoint a receiver of delinquent taxes.
I'm happy to do that.
Okay, Geraldine.
Yeah, I mean, that's an easy one to read.
Okay, this is a good one. There'll be bound to be discussion on this next one.
I'll do it.
The capital fund. Are you?
Yeah, I'll read
I don't have my hearing aids. Are you?
Hugh.
Okay,
Number 4.
great,
it. Yeah,
great.
tonight is 2, or just a hearing aid?
What? Article 5. See if the voters will authorize the following capital expenditure. Who would like to do that?
Anyone?
Oh.
I can do that.
Maria will do that?
Maria?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Maria. Who wants to do the fire truck?
I'll do that.
Good. And then
Okay.
Zeke.
Okay, I'll do 7 and 8.
All right, I'll do 9.
Good. I was hoping you'd do
Hugh's
that.
going to do the structure fund, good. Evening Star Grange.
I can do that one.
Maria?
Okay, Maria's doing the Grange.
I'll do Green Mountain Camp.
Okay, Carolyn. Okay, and then we have the 2 resolutions. I can't remember, you know, I asked Cindy Jerome whether
Oh my goodness.
we would do those ones or would the people that brought them.
What did she say?
I'm sure I have the email on my computer. But I think they will do that. We can speak to them, but
And who is the person with the climate one?
I'm not sure who. It could possibly be Katie Byrne. She
Uh-huh.
was active in getting that. Let me just check. We could leave those to, I'll check between now and our next meeting.
Okay.
And we'll see how we want to handle that. And then Article 14, I think that is usually Cindy, just,
What about 13?
that's another petition, and so they may, I'll check with Cindy.
Oh, right, because they did the petition, and so that's a matter of whether Laura Spilius would do it or
Yeah,
one of those.
yeah, whether the people that
BDCs. Oh, Sevens, not
yeah,
BDCC.
brought that. would.
Does Cindy do Article 1 too? Moderator?
She will discuss that, yes. Yeah, and so we get into the act, you know, with Article 2.
Yep.
Okay.
And then, just for your reference, even though it says, okay, so to act on the auditor's report of the town accounts, you'd actually say, Cindy may read that first, and then Joe, you're doing that one, so you would actually say, I move that we accept the auditor's report of the town accounts. And so Hugh's doing Article 4 to see if the voters will raise the sum of 175. You'd say, I move that we raise the sum of 170,000.
Okay.
And what else? Let's see. And so Geraldine, for that Article 3, to see if the voters will authorize it, the select board, you would say, I move that we authorize the select board to appoint a receiver of delinquent taxes. Okay, Maria. And what would that one be? The one,
Would it be, I move that the voters authorize the following capital
Yep.
expenditures?
Yeah, I move that, yeah, exactly. I move that we authorize the following capital expenditure.
And for mine, for Article 3, I move that we vote to authorize the select board,
Yes,
not it. It's funny.
you know, Article 9 would be, I move that we raise the sum of $10,000 through taxes.
Mhm.
And Article 10 would be, I move that we grant tax exempt status to the Evening Star Grange. So that's sort of the plan.
School board goes first this year, correct?
School board goes first.
So they start at 10.
They start at 10. Legislators usually start once they'll come in and then there's lunch. So I'm not sure when we'll actually,
So I signed up to work in
Get
the
going.
polls earlier, knowing that we were second.
Yeah, I think I'm 9 to something.
I signed up to work at 5, so I'm hoping we're done by 5.
Yeah, I'm late in the day too.
Yeah.
For 8 o'clock in the
Oh.
morning,
Oh, you did?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go, I guess if they need help counting, is anybody else gonna go help count? Count.
Actually, well, you know, Maria and I are candidates, so, you
So we
know,
can't,
they've
right.
got to keep an eye on us to make sure we don't.
I don't know, if you're running unopposed, you can count.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is that true?
That's true.
Yeah.
Or at least it was 2 years ago.
I did invite Jack Mannix to join us, and he said that they're always getting plants in at this time of year, but that he thought that he could attend the afternoon session. I would be surprised if we go on before lunch,
I would be surprised also.
with it between the legislators and the school board.
Yeah. But, you know, a $2.9 million budget, you know, can go pretty quick.
I heard the news this morning about the high school annual meeting last night. And what it said, there were 10 voters.
I think
I couldn't believe it.
there were 9 voters.
$24 million and 10
Yeah.
voters.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So the cameras are still running.
Yes, so do you want to recess until our?
Sure.
Yeah,
we'll do
we
that.
can eat some chocolate.
Sure.
So I will move, we recess our select board meeting, and then at 7 o'clock, we will convene the public hearing. So,
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's a public hearing on the proposed town plan for Dummerston. And so we're here to listen to your comments about the plan. We're not here to tell you about the plan, or it's not a question and answer. It's to take your comments so that we can then take those comments and, you know, as part of the adoption process for this plan. So if anyone has any comments,
Wow.
well, okay, anyone have any, I'll back off my opening statement and say, anyone have any questions? It's, okay, I'm doing a Sam Farwell now. The town plan was, it's a revision of the last town plan. They updated, you know, graphs and statistics and information. So there's no big change from the last plan. There's, but by statute, is it 8 years or 5 years?
8 years.
It has to be revised or looked at again and readopted. So it's just an update of the last one. Do you want to say anything about the process, or?
No, Sam could, I suppose.
Well,
How much
no.
time do you want?
Yeah. Yes.
So if there aren't any questions about it or comments, Ruth Barton.
All right, I will ask a question.
Okay.
There's been quite a lot of chatter on various boards or whatever about the siting of windmills and solar panels, and planning commissions stating where they can be and where they can't be, and all the foo-foo and folly-roll about that. Have you done anything with that?
I would love to talk about what the planning commission has and has not done. This town plan the updated chapter on energy did not do any specific addressing of siting of solar or wind generating facilities. The state gave specific criteria for how you could address those things in your town plan. But in order to do that, you really had to meet a high bar in your energy chapter for kind of showing that you've done your homework. You couldn't just say, well, there will be no wind generation in Dummerston. You had to meet a higher bar than that. So we in the Energy Committee were not prepared to do that this time around. But it certainly has been on part of our discussion as well as to when we might take that step with the energy chapter. So
Well,
the short answer is no, it's not in this update.
it sort of sounds to me like we should be getting on that post haste before we have problems.
So what would happen right now if, like, I've heard talk in my neighborhood of one going up that all the, the waves would be right over my head.
Right.
So what would happen right now if somebody applied
To put
to put a
wind generation
this,
on
it wasn't wind actually. This was what? Oh, I'm sorry. It was a cellular tower.
Oh, the cell towers, yeah.
Yeah, that's another. Do we have
That's
anything in
another
our plan
topic.
right now?
General talk about it, but we're actually addressing it in zoning, and the town has an ordinance, so that there are very specific regulations about citing that, and it's also currently being permitted by the state. The municipal regulations are really just there in case the state decides to stop permitting. Currently, the state requires a certificate of public good for cell towers as well as any power lines or substations. So it's a rather stringent permitting process. But yeah, I guess that's the answer.
Yes.
I know that, at least from some conversations with Sam in the past, that the Planning Commission was addressing water quality issues. And I was wondering if equal footing shouldn't be given to the use of water. In other words, water quantity. I'm concerned about the potential. I realize we already, with the Pepsi plant, that was already grandfathered in, and I guess that's going to be swinging over to the brewery. I'm less concerned about that. I wouldn't like to see that multiplied a lot. But I think as it exists right now, someone could come in, buy a plot of land, quite small, drill a well, and start bottling water. It's happened other places, and I think it should be addressed. We have questionable aquifer in lots of places in town, and I don't think it should be depleted through a bottling enterprise. Is that something the Planning Commission is looking into?
Not currently, and I know that the state did make some kind of an act that said that water was a public property or some kind of legal term like that, which I assume has an impact on permitting for that kind of business. But I don't know the details. I know that the town plan and our zoning don't explicitly regulate that, so I don't have an answer as to what would happen if someone did intend to do that. And I think that other people share parents' concern that that's something that we should be looking at. We did just the general topic of water. I mean, we did create a whole new chapter on flood resilience, which was required by the state. That went into law after Hurricane Irene. And so that is a significant change to the town plan. And also as part of that, what was the natural resources map, it was too much data, so we now have natural resources and water resources, just because there's a lot more information available to Wyndham Regional Commission now, and they had, the map looked much too busy. So, and that may trickle down into some zoning. We already have regulations about development close to waterways, but there may be some trickle down from the town, from that flood resilience chapter into our flood regs. But no, as far as the aquifer, I don't know, and it's not in the town plan.
Any other comments or questions?
I just
Yeah.
noticed one little thing, and it's not on the same topic, and it's just a teeny tiny little thing, but on page 83, where I'm looking at the thing about the school, because I teach there.
Sure.
And the thing that jumped out at me is bus service is provided for all students, which is kind of an interesting, like I know for my kids to catch a bus, they have to walk 1.8 miles. So I'm not sure I would consider that as, bus provided for them. And, it's an issue in the afternoons when they were little. It's like, okay, there's no way I could get them home. So I don't know, I'm not saying it's untruthful. There is a bus from Dummerston Center, but I think there are quite a few kids in the town of Dummerston who would have to walk a very significant stretch on a non-safe road to get to a bus stop. I remember when that was changed, it was probably about 12 years ago, and some of those stops were eliminated in the park lot in Spalding Hill area. Anyway, probably Canoe Brook, the same would be true. Miller Road, same would be true. I don't really know the west side as well. I think one comes down Stickney Brook. So, just as a point of reference.
Okay.
As always, I would love to have an excuse to talk about just about anything in the town plan, but I could address that chapter somewhat. I don't know how to get rid of it. It'll stop.
You and me both.
And the education chapter, actually, mainly that's updated with new data from enrollment figures, and it got a rewrite. But as far as anything substantial, we got no input from the school board. They pretty much had enough on their plate, and just the idea of getting into the weeds and rewriting the chapter was not for them this time around. So there's very little vision in that chapter, and I think that would be a great chapter to get community input on. It's interesting that it goes. All the other chapters kind of inform select board or municipal organizations, but that informs the school district, which is a whole other legal entity. So any action steps that were to come out of that would kind of be up to the community to put the pressure on the school board. And it would be good for the community to demand that the school board get involved in the planning process.
When they're not busy with Act 46.
Yeah, if we have a school board.
Okay.
Clearly
Anything
in
else?
Summit, so.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Roger has the draft of this plan, or how
No.
would we make changes?
If you were to make changes, you've got a planning commissioner who can be a liaison, but currently I've got the draft and I would love to clerk your changes, but
Okay.
if you want to take it into your own hands, let me know. I'll give you a editable version.
Okay.
But
Great.
draft control is always very important.
Okay. Good.
I volunteer my services to be your clerk. if it
Thank
comes
you.
to
Great.
that. So,
Good.
all right.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other comments? Then I will close this.
Do we want to go into
some of the things that we've looked at and changes that like we're discussing as far as identifying like boundary points, the way they're described. So for example,
Let's close the public hearing and then we can go on to that discussion if you want.
Okay.
So how about a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll move that we close the public hearing and reconvene the select board meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we're back to being the select board.
Good. Now we are changing.
Okay. And,
So do we want to address where it talks about the trailer park ordinance
yeah,
on page 10?
yep. So far as we know, the state has changed, let's see, the laws regarding trailer parks, and so our trailer park ordinance is no longer valid, so we could strike trailer park ordinance from
I would agree with that.
page 10, where it lists our ordinances, or some of our ordinances.
On page 82, it talks about the members of the Wyndham Southeast Supervisory Union and includes Vernon. Is Vernon still a member?
Until the end of June or July?
They're still a member of the supervisory union. They are not a member of BUHS number 6.
Okay, thank you.
That's my understanding of the whole thing.
Okay.
Or I should say they will not be as of July 1st or something.
Let's see, where it lists a couple places, it uses Hidden Acres as a reference point. We could change that to, on page 14, we could, just because we don't have sponsors for this, we could say, the focus area stretches from where it says Hidden Acres, we could say Hidden Acres Campground, we could say the north end of Carpenter Road
Yes. Yep.
to Dummerston School. And then on page 47, oh, or is it 43? Where is that?
43, it's in the second paragraph.
Which one?
Second paragraph on 43.
43.
Yeah.
43. Okay, yes. We could say, they range from highly organized commercial enterprises to informal bike riding. Two campgrounds are located in the eastern part of town. And strike a miniature golf course open to the public is located at Hidden Acres. Would that be all right?
Yep. Sounds good to me.
I would note on page 59, under public transportation, it talks about how there's an effort underway to address the unmet public transit needs for daily bus along Route 30. And then on page 78, under smart locations, it says that there currently is service along Route 30. And I'm not sure if there is or not, but I think that that should be consistent.
Right. I'm not sure. Do you know?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, so page 59 says it is, and then this other page, the next
Page
page.
78.
We're on 78, Jim?
Um,
Under smart.
Yeah, under Smart Solutions, it says currently Southeastern Vermont Transit provides daily scheduled bus service
I think
in
they do.
Dummerston's two most daily settled areas along Route 5 in the Connecticut Valley, connecting town with Brattleboro, and along Route 30 in the West River Valley.
So that was, I bet that was updated with that, and I bet on page 59 is the incorrect one. Does that make sense, Maria? And then here it just says there's an effort underway.
Underway, yeah. So is there bus service on Route 30?
I think there is.
I've seen it, but it's been a while. I mean, I always thought that they did come up Route 30.
No, I mean, I don't know.
But it's been since the summer,
but-
probably, at least since I've seen it. Has anybody else seen a bus? The current?
I have seen one periodically, but not regularly,
Yeah.
so.
I'm trying to think if it starts, it is at the park and ride at Covered Bridge.
I've never seen it stop there.
Yeah, I haven't seen it stop either.
If you were, would you be willing to stand out there tomorrow and
All day.
wave it down and see if it stops?
Yeah, I'm looking right now, it doesn't have a stop in Dummerston. Maybe by request, but it's not officially listed.
Does it go up the West River Valley?
I have to look at the maps.
I didn't even think it was the West River Valley.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that you
This is
updated. in the
BCTV
plan,
cameraman,
that
Ian
kind of
Keel.
stuff, so-
identify myself. Does the town have a contact with the organization? Does the town have a current contact with them?
I'm aware of.
Okay, just curious.
Well, I think it's just something to note.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's something that would make us not approve the plan.
Right.
It's not something that's inconsistent in such a way that it's gonna cause a problem, so,
Okay.
I mean, that there aren't a dozen of those kind of things reflects how hard the planning commission worked.
Right. Page 85, where, let's see. So the OSHA, at the top of the page, colleges and adult education. The OSHA Lifelong Learning Institute, which is located in the Southeast Vermont Learning Collaborative on Route 5.
Yeah.
It's no longer there.
It's no longer there. So, I guess I would take that bullet point out. The OSHA, I know the OSHA program is still going, but I think they're in Brattleboro now.
Yeah, out on Elliott Street.
Okay, right.
That place that was a restaurant or something on the corner of Elliott and
Yeah.
Elm.
Okay.
So just take that whole bullet out.
Yeah. And then bottom of the
Do you want
page.
to delete the whole thing, or just
Right.
that they're not located on Route 5?
Let's
Because,
see.
because we're,
Oh,
the whole
okay, so-
idea of the chapter is to promote
Let's
adult
see.
education. That doesn't mean it has to be in Dummerston.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So yeah. So let's
At the OSHA Lifelong Learning Institute, period.
Yeah,
Right, and
let's
just
do
delete
that.
The rest of it.
Okay, and we'll remove the, yeah, because it's making reference to other campuses in the Brattleboro area, so we can, it's still there, but just not at the Learning Collaborative.
May I say something from the floor, which is related to this?
Mhm.
I just feel like in our town, one of the places where I learn the most as an adult is Dummerston Conservation Commission programs that they often do in conjunction with DEEP, and that might be worth including.
Actually, there's quite a large conservation section where they,
It's listed there.
yeah,
It might be worth putting it both places. It feels like it's education, it's adult ed for sure.
Mhm.
Just a-
okay. What do you want to do? Policy point 1.4, promote lifelong learning. That's an action step. Do we continue to support long-term viability of the Southeast Vermont Learning Collaborative?
As an action step. Who takes responsibility for those particular action items?
They aren't assigning anybody to do this. You know,
Because they're not in Dummerston anymore, we could just delete that.
Are there other ones?
It's-
That's where we could mention the Conservation Commission. Support the Conservation Commission in their
continuing education.
Educational
Yeah,
opportunities.
I'd go with that. Everybody else, okay?
Sure.
Okay, support Conservation Commission's educational programs.
So that would be the new A.
Yep.
Mhm. Thanks, Molly.
Okay, and just strike Southeast Vermont Learning Collaborative. Okay. There's, I don't have any, what typo did you have?
I found a typo. On page 9, in that nifty little chart there, the third item down, education,
Yes,
missing the D.
that's,
A keen eye.
Not a good word to have a spelling error.
No.
In the bottom, where it says that we receive funding for emergency management, we don't actually get emergency management funding anymore. right?
no,
I agree, we need to strike that.
what page is that?
Page
Nine.
9.
Page
Also
9,
page 9.
Oh, page 9.
under revenue.
Yeah, revenue. Oh, boy,
uh,
okay.
Third line up.
Yes, right,
Strike emergency management
Yep.
reimbursement.
good catch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Why mine didn't print?
I don't get that. I got the one about the strike.
Do you want other typos?
Do you want to touch the animal control?
No,
Okay.
that's, it's sort of a goal,
Okay.
not,
What is it for?
or an action step.
And what you, as far as like the Foreman apostrophes and stuff that you looked at, you want to talk to?
Yeah.
We just kind of.
I mean, I sort of want to drag everybody through this, but, when something is possessive, it's supposed to have an apostrophe in it, and I thought I would just give my entire report where I've noted them to. Maybe you can pass it along.
Sure.
Because I don't want to diminish the hard work that they've all done on this. But, and also, sometimes town is capitalized and sometimes it's not, and I think we should at least be consistent. That would be easy, just to go do a select all and just,
Decide when it's, when
Right.
it's talking about Dummerston, and then it's capitalized,
When
and
it-
when it's not,
when it's the town,
right, it's a capital T.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and then also farther and further.
Uh-oh, don't get into lesser more, or lesser fewer.
Add that beneath that.
Okay.
So we could just generally agree that we can make the spelling corrections.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, with those corrections that we've noted, what would you like to do?
I'd like to approve the plan as corrected.
I would second that.
Okay, discussion?
I'll just say, reading through it, this is probably the first time I've read the thing cover to cover. I think they did a great job on it. A lot of hard work. I wish if Sam or Marie's still here, but just reading it, I think the organization of it, the way the goals are outlined, the action steps. I think those guys that I've been, watched them do some of their work, and I think they've done a great job. They put a lot of time and effort into this thing, and I think I appreciate it.
Right. Yes, the planning commission did a good job in getting public input. Compared to the last town plan, we haven't had to have people leave their pitchforks and torches outside the door like we did last time. It's been a much smoother process. So we've taken note of concerns about aquifer protection, citing energy, wind and solar arrays.
And so,
So those are things that the planning commission can, once they get done with the town plan, they're looking for things to do. So keep them busy so they earn their pay. So any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so we've adopted this town plan with the corrections we've noted. Okay, is there, now that you're here, we had, earlier in the meeting, we had our traditional public comments section. Anyone have, since you're here, any axes you want to grind or comments you'd like to make, or
Not tonight.
about anything? Okay. We're going to have our candidates. There is chocolate there for your refreshments there, but our candidates night is next 2 weeks from now at the basement of the Congregational Church. It'll be filmed by BCTV, so you'll be able to we do have a contested race this year for a one-year seat on the school board. And if you know of anyone who might be interested in being a lister, we have no one running for a lister's office, so and that's a paid position, 340 hours a year, and could do a write-in. You'd only need 16 votes to get written in, so you don't even have to ask the person, if you just
Get 16 people to push the first.
yeah.
Who do I dislike the most?
No, it'd be, who do you think would do a good job? Yeah.
Whose seat is being vacated?
Charlotte Annis is not running again. So, and we have another auditor's position that's no one's running for. So that's a pretty important job in town. So if you know of anyone, you can spread the word, who might like to become an auditor. There's a small stipend, and they review the books, the town's books. With 3 auditors, they only have to do it 4 times a year, and then work on the town report. But another important job. So, any volunteers here? Okay. Well, if you know of someone, let them No. Is any other business? Or any other questions?
I have one little question, and it occurs to me as I'm sitting here. The fourth graders are gonna be studying town government right after our February break. Would any of you like to come in and talk with them about what it's like to be a select board member?
Oh,
We can do math thing at the same time.
Yeah, we'll do the math thing at the same time.
Just do that day for me.
Oh, that's so
Sure,
great.
Great, thank you.
I'd come too, even though they're not voters, yeah.
I'll be happy if, or we can both go with it, but just let me know.
Okay.
And after it, we
Sure.
can make it, we can make a time arrangement.
I don't know if there's any age limit to being an auditor. Yes,
I
there-
have a couple who are quite good at math.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Any other business to come before this board? All right?
Joe?
No.
Oh,
I'm just waiting for the motion.
I'll move that we adjourn.
need a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.